Hello and welcome to the Stover Farm channel. I'm so glad to have you here with me, and the time has come. We need to start building the very first farm. The farm you've asked me to start on, the dairy farm. Now, we don't have a name for this map yet. We don't have a name for this town. We're just calling this the Landman series, and if you are just clicking on this video and have no clue what's going on, this should be number 6 in the series. What we have done is found a map very similar to No Man's Land from the Farm Sim 22 era, a map that I love because you can do whatever the heck you want on the map. So many times we wait for map makers to create a map and release it either on the in-game mod hub to all platforms or out on a third-party site. And that's cool, that's great. Spectacular mod makers out there, map makers. But what I realized is there's so much you can do on the in-game map editor that all you have to do is have a blank sandbox map and you can build everything. So we started basically with the map. I got your input. You told me kind of what you wanted. We built a town. We built a regional airport. We've got a river. We've got a power plant. We've got an oil field with a bunch of, now some new stuff that I've added from Roughneck modding. So cool. We'll get into that, but it's for another time. But we don't have any farms. So you all know how this goes. We're going to turn this very empty plot of land into this. Traditionally, I say we do it in an hour or 2 hours. I don't know how long this one's going to take. Usually, again, I do it in one sit down. I don't know how long this is going to take because I want this to be real nice. So I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to walk you through what I'm doing. But really, from this point forward is the raw build of this. Again, you're welcome to stick around and listen to my commentary on it. You could watch it in a fast 2x, 3x speed, whatever works best for you. But we're going to make something really, really cool. U.S. dairy barns, we don't have a ton of them in the game right now. And I do try and keep these mods that we're using on the map. I say all platform. I'm on a non-all platform map, so I blew that out of the water. But there are enough other maps out there on the in-game mod hub that are all platform that you could do this exact same thing. You could build this exact same town, this exact same city. And again, I'm going to try and use all platform mods, but I'm going to slip up. So just keep me honest. And if there's anything you see that I'm doing in here, that you have questions on, maybe you want to know where to find the mod, I'll do my very best to find it and help you out with that. Or if you've got suggestions on how to do this better. My only ask is just have fun with this game. This is just a multifaceted game where you can play, scenarios, you can farm, you can do stupid stuff like build an airport, you can do an oil field, you can do so much. Just have fun. And enjoy it. That's all I ask. And you're welcome to recreate this. You're welcome to do series yourself on it, whatever you want to do. Again, this is what the game is all about. So this dairy farm is going to be not huge, but I don't want it to be too small. We're like, we've got 10 cattle, like 10 cows. No. So we're just going to start laying some stuff down, but I do want it to be a little more traditional. I think, in what a U.S. dairy farm would be. And I'm sitting here just going back and forth. Yes, I'm going to place this. The first thing I always place down is always the hardest because I never know if I'm going to be happy with where I put it. But I think right here. Do I want to customize the cow barn with feeding lot? Yes, but there's a but on here. This is typically what I do. I usually don't do it at first. Yes, that's fine. I let it do its default location. And then I take a look and I just see how the terrain flattening occurred. Because that's the thing we're always fighting in this game is terrain flattening. And I hate to just build a flat map. I want to keep some of the terrain here. So what I typically do is I will put the barn or whatever object down first, and I'll go in and I'll grab my flattening tool, and I'll just make the area that I put the object on bigger. And I'll typically try and just make a nice oval out of that. And if it's going to be something where I add a pasture, I will then come in and we'll do some softening. So we'll really soften this up. And it's not going to matter so much over here. It is going to matter over here because this is the area where the fencing is going to ultimately plant itself and plant the pasture grass. So right now is when you want to do any or all of your adjustments to the terrain. And all I'm just doing is I'm making this a little less perfect. You're going to hear me say that a lot when I'm doing these. And for this particular one, again, it's going to be such a long build. I do have a little sippy poo drink with me. Very good. And I'm just going to go real slow, real just methodical on this. Again, the hope is that you can learn some things. You can build these yourselves. But I want to get my whatever terrain that I'm working on with the pasture. I want it to be taken care of here first because we're going to delete this and we're gonna put it down again. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I think I'm happy with that, so I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna say yes, okay. Then I'm gonna come back in here. I'm gonna grab it, and now we know where it goes. So right here. And then I'm going to say, yes, I want to do this. So now we can choose where we want this pasture to go. Now, you could come down here. You can do really whatever you want. But I think what I would like to do is kind of, I don't know, something a little custom. A little crazy. Maybe not crazy. Crazy is not the word. But do something like this. And we can always look sideways here and just see how... Okay, maybe right about here. So I feel like there'll be a road coming up here. And we're going to use a lot of this area. So there's a ton of area we're going to use. All right, now we don't need to go too much further because we need to end it right there where that green post is. So I'm going to try and keep this nice and square. And put it about right there. Put it right there. Yes. So there's our pasture. We can see that that is very nicely done. Very nice and clean. And again, it's not... How do I phrase this? If we didn't do what we just did, this would have been all flat right here. There would have been this big change in elevation going up towards these trees. And yes, as we made the pasture, the fence would have followed it, but it would not have looked natural at all. Because it would have been flat, 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 and then the point in which the terrain began to go up the hill, it would start to go up the hill, and it would just look odd. Okay. So you know what this reminds me of? There's a YouTuber that I watch. I love watching farm videos on YouTube. Kip Siegler. They have a huge dairy farm. This kind of reminds me of one of his barns. Now, I know recently, I think he got rid of a lot of their harvest stores, their silos. But I just love the look of, harvest store silos. So let's go in here and see what we've got. So we've got some stave silos here. It looks so, so cool. What can we do here? So the intake on this is here on this side. So you'd pull up and you would use a blower to blow in there, and then you would pull it out on this side. So, I mean, I guess technically we could... I'm going to try something here. So, so the feeding area for this is right here. I want to try something. This is where I get in trouble sometimes. I want to look and see if I grab... We do a little bit of buildings inside of buildings. Maybe not that. I've got a drive-through, I believe. Let me see what I can find here. Oh, I did install this. So you can now search, which is awesome. And looky there. There it is. So that is really, really cool. Let's see here. Would this work? That would not work. That wouldn't be wise to do that. But so what I'm thinking of is I could actually build something with a cover on it. So I'll try to mock it up here for you real fast so you can see. So like if you were to put a cover on this, that looks stupid, obviously. I mean, we could maybe be able to get away with that. Maybe not that. Let's see this. No, definitely not that. I think I could potentially get away with this right here. So let's try it. Let's just bear with me for a moment. Let me scroll through and see if there isn't anything else that's better. No. No. Oh, what about this? Would that work? Would work, actually. So, okay. So what I'm thinking is, and it's actually the right color, too. So you come up here, and is it going to be tall enough? Yeah, it just fits up under that eave right there. That's perfect. So what we do is we bring this, we turn off R, so we get to put this wherever the heck we want. We just make sure it's rotated the right way. And we're adding on to this barn in a way. So we're coming in right here. Now I have no clue what this is going to look like on the inside of the barn. But we're just giving it a try. We're going to hit B. We're going to drop that in there like that. Let's come out of this mode. Let's run over here and see what this looks like. So again, this particular barn, that's almost perfect. Right up to that. There's a name for that in buildings, and I have no clue what it is. It's almost like it was built that way. Like you're supposed to do this. I wonder if it is. That's interesting. And then you could come in with so the feeding area is right in here. Then you could come in with your factory, harvest store, or whatever type of stave silo you want. And you can put this... See, this one's not going to work because it doesn't actually... I mean, it would probably work, but we would need to lower it a little bit. so that that discharge chute was actually down further. Let's see if there's any other silo, and these are production items. So there's something that would potentially work, but again, it's too tall. Let's look and see. Again, too tall. Way too tall. So I think this is probably going to be our best bet, but what we're going to have to do is lower it. I do feel like we should come in and finish this out a little bit. So let me find the other portions and make this all the way down. So that's it. That's its cousin, the slightly larger one. There's so many things we could do here. What is that? Oh, that's kind of like the opposite end of that. Okay, let's just see here. Let's see here. Oh yeah, we would probably have it so that it's open. It wouldn't be completely sealed, because you'd want to be able to get in and around. Now, here's what we're going to need to do. And I'm going to jump back around on stuff that we're doing. We're going to need to flatten this. We're just going to need to make sure that this is perfectly flat right here. And I think it is. From when we put the barn down to begin with. But again, just wanted to make sure, because we're going to come in, going to find that one more time. Here we go. What's it called so I can search for it? It is called Small Additional Shelter. So we're going to come in here. It's about right. Rotate maybe just a little bit. Hit B. Boom. Maybe we'll put one more down. Boom. And now, I mean, see, the way this is you can walk in here, but you could still get out. Like, it's not perfectly secured. And then you've got access into this. I think this has a robot built into it, but you don't have to use it. So if we come in here and open this, yeah, there's a robot here, but we're not going to use it. You do not have to use it. We're going to feed manually. Okay. Let's go back into the construction menu. We're going to need to lower. We're going to need to do a little bit of sculpting here. So I'm going to just lower that down. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to hit B so that this is nice and very, very tidy through here. And I'm going to do my best to just go right up as far as I can, because we're going to put those silos in here. And we're going to make the silos, I'm hoping, in a way that we can empty out of them into a cart or a bucket or something and feed the animals. So let's see if that worked. Yes, that worked lovely, actually. See that? That's almost perfect. Now, let's not do all the same sizes. Let's maybe do a small one here. We're going to come up over the top and just look. Let's put one down first. And again, we absolutely have to turn on place anywhere. Free mode. We want this to be free mode on, because if we don't, it is going to flatten the area and it's going to mess up everything we've done. So let's just bring this in like this. Drop like that, and then let's jump out and let's take a look. Yeah, see, that's almost perfect. And we should be able to, and you kind of got to just pretend a little bit. Like, if that really, really bugged you right there, that you see that, which, I mean, I guess it could bug some people. You can come back out and you can delete it. And we're not worried about money at all on this. There's $250 million in the bank. We're just not worried about it. But yeah, you can maybe move it up just as far as possible so that that little discharge tube is where it needs to be. Again, turn off, make sure you're not going to flatten anything. Drop it in there, and then let's see if that was better. Yeah, so now you don't have anything sticking in. You're just going to have to deal with that. It should still discharge. And we could test that if you want to, before you get going real crazy with stuff. You can come in here and we can buy something. Let's buy in miscellaneous. Not that miscellaneous, this miscellaneous. I have this. So let's just buy this. I don't even know if this will fit in there. I don't know if it's... It might be too tall, but it might also be perfect. I think it might be too tall. No, it just... yeah, it's got to be too tall. Yeah. Okay, no worries. Stand by, stand by, stand by. Let's delete this. Hit F12. Make sure delete objects is on. Let's get something smaller. So let's look at some type of forage mixer. And then we've got this Knight. This is a very, very, very small mixer. Buy that. Okay, and then let's get a very, very small tractor. Something tiny. That's way too big. Way too big. Let's grab this 3010. Yeah. Grab this 3010 with no rollover protection. I don't know why I had them spawn way over here, but fire that bad boy up. And what I'm doing here is, again, I would hate to get all the way through this. Why isn't the... There we go. I've got manual, the manual attach mod on here, so you've got to manually attach both the trailer to the tractor and the PTO and the all the piping, the hoses. So let's see if this... I don't know if this might even be too big. No, this is fine. We get under there. Yep, you saw on the left-hand side of the screen that it toggled over to the fill mode. So I can come on and it'll say... Back up right there, start filling with R. Now, there's nothing in it, but that is absolutely going to work. So we can proceed with other stave silos if we want. And that's just a little trick, just because you don't want to get an hour or so into your build and, holy crap, it's not going to work, because then you've got to, I don't know, delete things, and it just is annoying. Okay, let's put... maybe a slightly taller one in. Let's just do two of them. Let's do one down there and one on this end. And again, I'm going to make it so that we're not... And you can, so I can hit Shift P. This is going to take me into precision mode. This is a mod. I believe it's available on the in-game mod hub. It is a Mac or PC only because it is a script. But what it does is it allows you to get rid of the building collisions, and you can get really, really close to the area that you're wanting to build on so that you can get it right up there and be happy with your placement. So right about there. Again, I'm going to hit B. I want to turn off that flattening. Make sure that we have place anywhere mode on. Toggle free mode. Now we're going to put it down. We come on out, and there are our two harvester silos with the discharge chutes right there. That's perfect. I love that. Now, okay. Here we go. Now we're going to want to come back into the flattening tool. And you're going to notice I'm not following any pattern on this. a lot of times I would, like I would do certain things before others. I'm really not right now. I'm just having some fun. Now, you can come in if you don't like that right there. You could raise this with the softening tool. We had to lower it initially so that we would get the silos down low enough. But now when we're done with it, we can soften it up. And, again, we can put some detail into that later. But I like this. I like this a lot. I think we should put a house in. So I want this to be kind of a traditional house. And that's annoying me right there. So, the question is, do I fix it, though? Probably do, yeah. I don't like that I don't like it like that. And since, again, we're taking a lot of time on this, so we just deleted that. But there you can kind of get a better idea of what this looks like. And if you wanted to, right now would be a good time to come in here and do some painting. Let's grab some concrete, because this would likely be concrete through here. Just right along this little drive path. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I just wasn't happy with what I did there. That didn't take my time. So let's go back in, and this should not be a problem. We should be able to rotate this, get this back in the perfect orientation that it was. And then we're going to come down. Might have to turn precision mode back on. Yes. And then we're going to just line it up like it was. Right there. And I just want to make sure that I'm like turning my head thinking that it's going to make it easier for me to see. Not very smart sometimes. Right about there is probably what we needed to be. I needed to rotate it ever so slightly. Okay, now we're going to just come down, and I'm looking at that threshold. There's a term for it. Like the flashing, the fascia. Is it the fascia board? I think maybe the fascia board on that or not. Yeah, under that eave. And I'm just looking for that to just touch the top of that roof, and then I'm going to bring it down ever so slightly till that is there. I'm going to hit B. I'm going to place it. I'm going to say yes. I think that is perfect. Okay, so now be a little more cautious here, stove. There. To there. To there. But here, this needs to go straight like this. Yeah, that's much, much better. To there, and then bring that over to here. Yes, okay. No harm, no foul. We are in good shape. Okay, let's move this tractor out of the way. And honestly, I'm just going to delete it. Because I'd like to make the house. I'd like to set the house up. And again, I want this to be kind of a traditional style farm. This is not going to be super fancy. I think the ranch, we can go all out on that. I want this to be a very traditional farm. So the house is not going to be some, multi-million-dollar home. I love some of the old traditional, like this. I love this. I really wish some of the great modders would do a fully detailed interior of a traditional farmhouse like this. That would be awesome. We don't have anything. We've got some really, really good farmhouses. So again, I'm not complaining, but I would love to see a traditional, like 3-story farmhouse. I remember going into one years ago with some relatives of ours up in a small farm in Indiana. I stayed the night. I stayed a couple of nights, and it was just so cool. It was 3 stories. It had wood everything. The staircase right when you come in the front door, and the staircase kind of it turned. It was just absolute just fantastic craftsmanship. We don't have any of that right now, but that's okay. It would be a house like this. I'd like to have an interior, and there's very few houses that do have interiors that are of the more traditional type farmhouses, but we'll choose one. We'll see what we can do here. That is like the standard 1980s farmhouse, or built it in the 80s, built it in the 90s. I do think we need to maybe do a little bit of just raise this up a little bit, because I'd kind of like the house to be up above the road. And this is one of those farms too where the house is very close to the farming operation. I know a lot of the builds that we do in Farm Sim, we tend to put the house like way, way, way far away and do super cool driveways. This one, I'm going to put the house very close to the farming operation. So we're just going to raise that up a little bit. And again, I want to be driving along the road, and I want the house higher than the road. I don't want someone driving on this road at night and careening right into my bedroom. That would be no good. All right, let's find a house. I'm not going to find a house in Factory Stove. We're going to find a house in Farmhouses. It's been a long day. I'm a little tired, but doing this though, I kind of wind down. It's very relaxing. To Snake Bizzle. Oh, we need to stand by. We need to come out of here. I've got to turn my shop and put it over there. So, again, it would be awesome, if you're a multi-millionaire and you had a house like this. That'd be super cool. That is not what this farm is. Honestly, that is very close to what this needs to be, is right there. I just want to double check that there aren't any others. There's that. This is an all platform mod. I actually really like this. I just don't like the garage. I've never loved the garage on that mod. This is a cool one too. This one's maybe a little more... I don't even remember what this looks like on the inside. Let's just drop it down and see what it looks like on the inside. I've forgotten what this looks like on the inside. So you come in. Oh, yeah, okay. It's a little step... Yeah. Okay, how big's the garage? Can I get my truck in here? Probably. Yeah. Where does this go? Back door. Okay. Are these the bedrooms? Bathroom. Single bedroom. Okay. Yeah, I think this house might be it. But let's just take a look at that other one real fast. Let's sell this. Yep. So I forgot what this one looks like on the inside, too. Oh, this is... Yeah, that wallpaper is blurry, but this is definitely what you would get in a traditional farmhouse of this era. Out to the garage. You're going to get, the Mrs. car in here, and that's about it. Which is okay. Got the bedrooms back here. Are the bedrooms back here? There's an office. Where the heck's the bedroom? Does this not have a sleep trigger? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, it does have a sleep period. Okay, I think I'm going to use this because this is... Well, do we use this one or that... Oh, it's got a grandfather clock in it. Can we make that chime? That would be so cool. I don't know. I'm torn. I'm very, very torn. I think this fits the part of a farm of this size. They both would be fine, honestly. This one's a little bigger. Yeah, let's go with that one. It's got that open area out. I do like that. It's like it's been a little modernized on the inside. It's not so 1979. You said this one down here. Can we change the color? No, so that's what you get. Okay, which is totally fine. We're going to put it on the 90. And we shall drop it right there. Okay. Perfect. Now, we could put a deck on the back of this if we really, really wanted to. That would be kind of fun. We could put a pool or something like that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that right now. So let's maybe do something on the back here that makes it a little more custom. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to lower some here. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm going to bring in some decking. And I want to test something here real fast. I believe it's in... Well, we can also do this. So let's see if we can find our wood decking. I think they are bridges. Did I delete those? I might have deleted those. That would be terrible. Oh, no. Did I delete them? I might have. Stover, what did you do? That's way too big. Is there anything in here that would work? Oh, that would kind of work. So what we're doing is yeah, that would actually work pretty well. We're using bridge decking to make our deck. So we're going to put that right about there, right under the door. Hit B, drop it down. And then we'll come in here and we'll do the exact same thing right on the edge of the house. B like that. Perfect. Now we can come over to... we can do some sculpting here still, so stand by. Let's smooth this out. Excuse me, I do have a bit of a cold. It's so cold in the United States right now. It's just bitterly cold. We can come in to... where did I save that? It is decoration. I think it's at the very bottom. It's in other. There it is. I made these. These are... they're not the right color, but they'll be fine. So this is some decking, some side rails that you can put on your decking and make it so you don't fall off. I used to do this with fencing, but you can't put fencing over an object like this. So we had to make something, and this is available on my itch.io page if you're interested. Welcome to go and get it. Just adds a little bit of... maybe we stop it right like that, and we make like a walk-off right here. I like that. Let's see if we can find some type of post. Stand by. Type in wood again. Yeah, something like this, where we can just put some supports on that. There we go. Now underneath, let's go ahead and paint. We're just going to paint kind of blind here. Maybe something like this. Again, we're painting kind of blind, but it's painting. We're just going to put that underneath. You can see that that's underneath there now. And we could put some rocks. Let's go. I tell you what, this is a game changer right here. This search feature for the construction menu. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. That's way too big of a rock. Holy crap, that's massive. I don't need anything that big. Okay. What else could we put in here? That's way too big. Then you can always come back in and you can do a little bit of just raising of the land. I don't know, is that an appropriate size that you could jump up on it, or is that way too tall? It's probably way too tall. Probably not bad here. So let's just raise this side up just a touch. Those rocks can stay under there, that's fine. They kind of are useless now, but... Okay. Now, I'm going to come in. We're doing a little more painting, because we're kind of focused on the house right now. Again, like I said, I'm going to be going back and forth. Like, we started over here. Now I'm on the house. It's a dairy farm. We're going to get there. Do a little bit of just around the house, some landscaping. And then come out here and grab our softening tool and just soften this up out here. You could even go a little grand with this, like come out maybe a little bit. We could put a tree right here in that, and then have that come off like this. Maybe have this come around like here to there. Yeah, I like that. We don't really have any good, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, it's like a fencing that you would put around a garden area. We don't have any of that, and there aren't any really good fences that are low. I mean, this works. That actually works pretty well. This one also could work fairly well. We used to have, I think in 22, one that was perfect. It was small, it was low. That was really, really nice. We need to put some stuff out on this patio. So let's look in other. And I think we've got, I mean, there's just a ton of stuff now. So I think we've got, yeah, we've got hot tubs. We've got, like, there's a hot tub. That would be awesome. Put a hot tub out here. Would we like the hot tub right there? Yeah, the hot tub would probably be really good right there. Put a hot tub. I mean, we could do that. That's like a multi-layered hot tub, but it's a little too classy for this. I mean, we could go with that, and that would be a little more like it. Like, that would be good for the outdoors. Let's see what else I've got in other. There's a barbecue. Cooking, grill. Yeah, here we go. This is an awesome grill. I do not remember who made this mod, but it is super, super cool. Put that like right here. Then we should get like some chairs. Oh yeah, like right there. That's perfect. I cannot tell you how nice it is to be able to search in this menu, because it took forever in the past. I mean, there were times where I was building things, and, you know, I just didn't quite know exactly where I needed to find something. And I'm sure it was boring the hell out of you all, because I'd be like back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and because I couldn't find it. That there, it wouldn't be terrible to have. Do we have a fire pit? We do. I don't love how that looks, though. Let's sell that. Okay, let's try something here. Whoops. No. I'm looking for something like this right here. Yeah, I think I could actually use this. So we could also do that out here. We could come out off the deck a little bit. Let's do that. Let's come in and sculpt and paint with a little bit of mud or dirt in that. And then let me look for that fire pit again. I don't know why it's... So it's like locking up my keyboard. There we go. Like when I was typing it in, I was losing my mouse and my keyboard. I had to exit out. Put that right there. Now let's go back into those chairs. I don't know. These particular details you can mess around with yourself. You can choose really whatever you'd like, but for now, we're just going to put that right there. Propane. I need some type of not that much. It's in decorations. Yeah, again, I'm looking for things to fill out this deck. You know, if you wanted to, you could put like a trash bin over here. You could do some flowers. There we go. There's a small LPG tank. I think we'll put that right over here because the kitchen's right there. Right there. Yeah, maybe we do some flowers kind of just along here. Nothing too crazy. There we go. Just a nice little patio. And then jump out and take a look at your work. So we'll finish this out, but this will be where we have a fire. And you know, it's probably way too big. Let me try something. In the new land clearing mod, which I think is in... I think it's miscellaneous. It's the very bottom. Maybe? It might actually be in land clearing. No. Hope I didn't delete it. Oh, it's in here. Pretty certain it's in here. And it's a jerry can. And it's so you can burn trees. Container with def. I don't think we can search in here yet. Thought it was in this. No. No. Am I just not seeing it? Mm-hmm. Consumables? No. Sort of you worry sometimes when you lose track of where a mod is because maybe there's a conflict. I always worry about that. Where is it? And if I can't find it here in like 2 seconds, I'm just going to move on. But it is a jerry can that allows you to set things on fire. And I do not see it. So I'm going to have to go back and figure that one out. But I was thinking if the flame was small enough, you could actually have a fire out here. But it might not be. Might not be meant to be. All right, I think I'd like to add a small concrete area for the driveway right here. And it's likely going to turn into, gravel as you get further out. And then we'll do just a little bitty area like this. And this house is just prime for some of these. I need to place segment. There's different sizes that you can do. Why can't I change? There we go. So this just like here, maybe that's a little too big. That's perfect right there. The middle one to about right there, and then just right to there. And I might do the same over here. And you could even run that down if you really wanted to. But I don't like that. I'm just going to take it to right there. And then we'll come in and we'll just add some plants that kind of mimic flowers. Something pretty to put in here. You do some ground cover like this. And then you could find some type of like this has, I think, red on it. Yeah. Just kind of sprinkle this in here a little bit. Make some happy little plants. There we go. And probably bring this around like that. Oh, that's a different color. Well, I like that. I like to overlap that. Watch this. So this just has little white flowers on it. Just gives it a little bit of depth. Versus just keeping it just that one shade of green. There we go, I like that. Okay, now we need to put a tree in here. So let's find a nice big tree. That is going to go right smack dab. Do we want to put an oak in there? Yeah, let's put an oak. It's an old oak. We don't want it to go into the house. I don't like that. I like that elm better. Because I can put it right there and it doesn't go into the house. Okay. What can we do here? We can maybe start to put some grass in. So for grass, just in this particular area, I'm probably going to go with the mowed grass. Now, you've got some options on this. If you could put... So this is meadow grass. It's all meadow grass at the end of the day. You could put the full-size meadow grass in and mow it. But for me, I'm lazy right now, and I'm just going to put... Just going to go ahead and put the mowed grass down to begin with. Now we got to determine where we want kind of like the nice part of the house to end, and the the farm to begin. And I honestly, I feel like the driveway, let's work on that. So like the path up into all of this is probably going to be about right here. And this is then, we're going to need to do a little bit of work up here, because this is going to be, you can come out, you can load animals right here. And we'll come in and do our detail on this gravel afterwards. Let's just put some gravel down for now, just to have a general sense of what the heck we're doing. Kind of like that. And then, I feel like, again, this would just be pasture grass in through here. And you're going to see, again, I like to have elevation that's not flat on my farms. And that can be challenging, especially with this game, because as you're putting things down, it's flattening, it's not lining up, and you've got to sometimes put things down and delete them. But like this right in here, this seems too flat to me. This is just too flat. So what I'm probably going to do is, I know we've already put that grass down, but I'm going to come in, I'm going to take the raise and lowering tool, and I'm probably just going to come in here and lower this a little bit right here. Because you would have natural drainage in some areas. Or you would at least want natural drainage in some areas. And it's going to look really messy here to begin with. But we're going to get it to the way we like it, and then we'll smooth it out. And again, just that little change right there makes it so much more realistic. We can come back in here, we can cover that back up, and you can see this now. So you don't necessarily get it with that, but you can see it on this side here, and now we can come in and we can get paint something. So we can paint some forest ground, or we can do something like leaves down here in this lower area. You can even do mud. Again, all this is just doing is breaking up the perfection that was there initially. And now we've kind of sculpted an area where the driveway comes down, and it has, a clearly defined path, kind of like that. And then you could connect that over here. So this was we already painted some of that. We just add some more. And then, again, you can, and then you can just keep going with this. You could find some, other types of flowers to put down. This is a really wet area. You could come in and put some of these, I never can say the name right, so I'm not even gonna try, but these are like wet area plants. Call them willows. Very nice. Yeah, I like that. And then if you really wanted to kind of like class that up a little bit, we could come back over and we could just put a nice soft, like this has been mowed right here. Right down this side, this edge of the driveway. And if you get stuff in there, like you're like, oh my gosh, just use the right. So I'm using a mouse. So left mouse button is painting it. Right mouse button is deleting it. And if you get it messed up a little bit, no problem. Just back it up to where you need to be. And then come back in and make your real detailed change right there. Okay, now let's do that same thing over here. But we're going to have this be properly cut and mowed. To a point, out to a point. So maybe not all the way to the road. Maybe like right here is where... And maybe right here. So I think we'll put some type of fencing up. So maybe to about right there. And this is a nice, perfectly manicured yard. It's got that true green every month on it. Very nice. Now, we could still come in here. So you know what I'm thinking. I'm going to come in. I'm going to grab my sculpting tool. And I'm just going to create a little bit right here. Just right here at the road's edge. And we'll soften that up. Again, very, very subtle right there. And we'll come back in and repaint that. And this right here is a great area for a rock. Like that. Nice. Trying to see what else we could put in here. Obviously, we need to get a mailbox. Put that down. And then, you know, again, we're going for like absolute realism. So let's grab this, just where the tires of the mail truck would kind of come up here. Would kind of just do that. Perfect. Love it. You got to have an American flag, I think, for your house like this. We need to bring concrete, though, out just a little bit more. Maybe right there. And now I think we do have... I'm going to check something here. I've got those, but that would not work. That would make no sense. I do feel like there are some curbs that exist out there on the mod hub. I just don't have them. But you could do some type of curb on your driveway if you really, really wanted to. You could also do like something like this for your driveway if you wanted to have a little bit more. It's got some dirt on it. Just it's a little more faded. I don't see anything else that would work out very well for what I'm trying to do. And that's okay. I mean, it's coming along, though. We're getting there. We're getting there. We need to probably shift back over to the farm. Let me just put a little bit of grass here. Like that. Perfect. Okay, so this farm, it's dairy. So we've got animals. Animals are in here. Animals are out on the pasture. So we're going to have fields. We're going to paint these fields more than likely. It's going to be probably a combination of pastures for grass and hay and corn to do corn silage. We've probably got to do some type of bunker silo as well. We've also got to have an area for equipment. And garages and just areas for stuff. So let's see what we can do in the form of some bunks over here. Because you've got these. You're likely going to chop corn and put corn silage in here. And then we would maybe do grass and do grass. But then we could also do hay. So many options for what can be done. But I think there needs to be some type of bunker silo. Put down, let's see here. Nothing maybe too big. Yeah, I know my shop area is restricted. What are those? Watergate new 4mm tip collision. I don't know what that is. Oh, those are the... Yeah, I know what this is. It's for the Roughneck modding crew. There's like to do fracking. There's so many cool things that they've got. But yeah, that's for the fracking. It might be too small. That might be perfect. Maybe put like 2 of these in. I gotta obviously move where my shop is. Let's put it back across the road. Now, when we put these bunks in, they're gonna modify the terrain. So if we put 2 of them side by side, they're gonna do that, and we're gonna have to go into our flattening tool. And this is probably going to need to be extended. So maybe not at that particular height, but maybe at like this height. Because again, you need to get your tractors and stuff in there, and that elevation change would be just too drastic. So I'm just kind of making some like that, and then you can come in here and soften this. Soften that, and then you can work with that. Let's take a look at that. That's not terrible. Soften just a little bit. I might start to raise through here. And you'd want to be careful, too, because if you had a lot of rain, you wouldn't necessarily want it all coming down into your house. Again, it's a game. We're just playing and having fun, but you would want to think of proper drainage. Would not be nice to get silage, water, muck down into your house. So, and if you're just joining or you're jumping around, we are on. My voice is slowly starting to hurt, so I might be getting softer and softer as I'm going along. I apologize. We are on Lone Valley, and we're building a map out based upon user feedback and what subscribers of the channel, or really anyone that wants to come and check it out, have asked to do. We've built a town, we've built an airport, we've built a massive oil field, we've got a power plant, and now we're building the farms. And it's going to be 2 farms. One of them is a nice dairy farm, which is what we're starting on. We're building that first. And the second is going to be a large ranch. We haven't gotten to that one yet, but we will. We're going to start on this one first, and we're just trying to get some stuff in here to make this a nice, proper dairy farm. We've still got to think about our equipment storage. So what are we going to put our equipment in? No, it's way too big. Again, this is not a small dairy farm, but it's not a massive multi-million dollar dairy farm. It's kind of a in-betweener, a little more on the traditional side with more traditional barns, just to have that look to it. That's too big, way too big stove, way too big. Okay, we can get into something like this. There's always one that I want to use, and okay, that's a better size. Yeah. And again, I apologize if my voice gets too sore. I might just keep going. And you're just going to hear the natural sounds of what we're doing. I don't like any of these sheds for this. Like, I don't hate that. Obviously would need a different color. I don't hate this. Roof color. Let's go gray. Probably stick with the red. I like white trim. I like the bottom tin white. Door trim white. That's fine. Let's see how this does right there. And I do want to start thinking about fields as well. And the way we're going to do the fields is I'm probably going to come in with mud, dirt, like this. And I'm first going to come and paint, an area. Because we're going to have to paint these fields in. I don't want to bore you with me trying to plow these fields in. We're going to paint. And that's the really nice thing about this particular map is you can do that. So like one of the fields could be right here. And one of the second fields could be right here. And we will have to delete some of these trees. Fortunately, we've got the delete objects mod turned on in easy dev. Center button on my mouse deletes everything. One thing I forgot. Now, in the painting menu, we actually take that back. It's in the plants menu. There's field. And it's so cool to be able to paint field. Because it just makes things so easy. Now, obviously, to be real, we could still actually plow land if we wanted to, but just for the basis of this build that we're doing, if I didn't do this, it would take forever, and it wouldn't be as realistic looking because we wouldn't actually see our fields. Do I want to take it up to... No, I think it's about as far as I want to take it. Maybe to like right there. It also lets you be super, super precise with where you're putting your field. Because again, you're just painting it. I don't know how it works in the coding, but the mod maker of this map provided it, and I love them for it. No Man's Land had this as well. You could paint arable land. And yes, it does bend, so you can bend it right around that little corner. And again, the real nice thing about this is you're not wasting a ton of time. So if you are doing a video or you're recording something, again, there's a field. That field is done. And you can come back in and you can, touch up the edge of the field a little bit if you want. Again, we've got kind of a drainage area right through there, so we would need to change some of the elevation, and we'll do that. Let's put this in here. I don't think I have control over which way my plowed lines go, the furrows go. But that's okay. It's going to get cultivated anyways. Probably disked. I knew I couldn't be that lucky. Perfect. Now, what you don't get with this, I don't think you get any rocks or other things, but it is a true field, so it does everything else. Okay, but now we need to properly add stuff around it, because that looks just way too surgically clean. So let's run over and move my truck. wonderful for that 6.7 to just go full throttle in reverse and then shut her down. Okay, now we're going to go into this, and we're just going to kind of make a... This was kind of the drainage area. Now, if you were to get this and touch that field, it would turn your plowed area back into painted land. So you don't want to... Got to be careful on this. So you don't get into... Similar to like how we touched it right there on where that grass was, and it got rid of the grass. But smoothing, surprisingly, doesn't do that. So you can smooth, no problems. It's only when you're raising and lowering. And we're not trying to make massive changes. I don't want it to be perfectly flat. Okay, now I'm going to come in and we're going to get some grass. And we're going to determine how close we want to get to the field. So maybe like right there. And this does take time, even though we're not plowing with a tractor. It still takes a considerable amount of time to get all this perfect. A way you could try one of the other ways that I do this, and that's where we make everything plowed land, and then we just put grass down on it, and then we plant over it. It's really awesome, especially on the row crop maps. I just don't think I'm going to do it for this one. But you've seen me where I have basically turned anything that is ground into arable land. And what that allows is the ground deformation, the water, the rain, the mud, any of the mods that you might have installed that are for like enhanced mud traction. Like when it's arable land, you get all of those parameters working. I just doing it this way this time. No right or wrong way to do it. All right, so that part is done. Now, this is the painting. We still haven't put the grass down. And you don't necessarily have to do this, but if you are OCD or really focused on detail, you will want to do it. We're just leaving a little edge, so it's like grass, light mud, and then arable land. Now, in theory, we could have just painted grass and we wouldn't have had to come back in and paint. If we just had put grass down to begin with, we wouldn't have had to do this step. So this is clearly extra. And we're almost done with this part. So I don't think we're done with the farm yet. Okay. So there's 2 fields. We've got 2 fields down. I'm thinking another field out here, or maybe a couple of short. We could even tier this if we wanted to. That could be kind of fun. Do some like some tiered farming right here. Or over here, this might work a little better. Or we flatten, then we go down. We flatten a little more, we go down. But let's come back up in here to the actual farm itself, because we don't have enough. We don't have enough storage for somebody through this. We've got our shop, a little bit of a heated shed right there. I think up here we need to have some type of cold storage. Or like commodity type sheds somewhere. Yeah, something like this. Can I change the color? Yeah, I can. Let's put that there. I almost feel like... Let's delete that cell. Yes. Flatten up to that. Ooh. Forgot about this shed. I like this shed. Let's put that right there. I do feel like we're going to need to come in and do some type of pathway through those trees right there to get over to whatever. So up through here, I think this will be a pathway to this other field. I'm not going to take out all the trees, but just a few, and then we'll sculpt a little bit. Now, again, yes, cheating with that delete mod But for time, we have to do it. Okay, so right in through here. And how do we do this? Here's what I recommend. You could just paint it, right? But you're still going to have this slope going down. And if you really think about it, taking a heavy tractor over this with maybe wet mud, it wouldn't be ideal. So we want to come in, we want to flatten. So I'm just going to kind of pick the top of the hill and I'm going to flatten. Like that. And then I'm going to create a slope up to it. And by doing that, I clicked on the slope. I clicked my right mouse button where I wanted my slope to get to, so the height of my slope. And then I click my left mouse button and I just move my cursor up to where that is. And it's going to make a perfect little ramp right there. And then I can flip around and I can do the exact same thing on the other side. So I can choose where I want to go and where I want to start. Just like that. Now, once we're here, now we can come in and start smoothing this out just a little bit, because this would not be probably that wide. And it would probably also not be this perfect. So we'll come in, we'll just make a couple of subtle changes here. And then we'll probably come into the raise and lower tool and we'll just make some imperfections. But overall, it is a nice, smooth area to drive on. Now, come in, get your grass. We'll hit the right mouse button to make it the circle. And we'll just come in here like this. This doesn't need to be that wide. Realistically, if you wanted to, you could just do this. Paint it all. Come in, get your meadow grass. Start putting your meadow grass down. Just like that. And now if you wanted to make some type of pathway, you can. And you can choose whatever type of path you want. You could just do gravel, you could do mud, you could do really anything. We're going to do something a little different. I've been doing this on a lot of my maps recently. And that's where I use a combination of two types of grass. I'll show you what I'm going to use. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to get the meadow grass, the lowest, smallest one. I'm going to make my cursor about that size. And I'm going to draw the area where I want my path to go. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It can kind of move around just a little bit. It doesn't need to be a perfect straight line. Just like that. Okay? And then I'm going to come and with the mod, all foliage mod, it's on the in-game mod hub, I am going to get that. It's called cut grass. I'm going to make this smaller. I'm now going to come in here and I'm going to make where my wheels would go. Like this. And now I'm going to choose some type of gravel paint. We've been using this one a lot, and I'm going to make it super small. And I'm going to come in and paint in the middle of that. And you can do this as well. And it does not, again, none of this has to be perfect. So there's a lot of steps there, but it looks really, really cool when you're done. And then you might come in and paint some forest ground. Just kind of extend that forest ground along the side of your road. It's just a pathway, I should say. Very, very nice. So that's your pathway down through there. Now, do we make kind of a... Yeah, we probably should. This would be fun. This would be a fun exercise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all of these trees over here. First thing I'm going to do is save. Now we're going to get rid of all these trees. Because what I'd like to have over here is the tiered land that is, you know, you plant corn and then you do meadow grass. It's a very Wisconsin type thing to do, and I don't think we're necessarily in Wisconsin, but you know what? This map can be anywhere you want it. The other side of the map, the west side of the map could be Texas. This side of the map can be Wisconsin. Whatever you want to do. We're having fun, right? Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to tier this out so that it doesn't look anything like this. I'm going to go big flattening tool. And I'm probably going to start like right about here. And I'm going to run it like this. Okay. Then I'm going to come down a tier. And then I'm going to run this like this. I'm going to come down one last tier. That. So we've got this stepped area. Okay, now that probably we wouldn't be able to harvest that as is. So now we're going to come in and just soften. Okay. Now we're going to paint. So let's get our, again, it is over in plants. And we're probably going to paint with the circular tool like this. And we should probably get rid of all of this foliage. Did I forget a tree? Guess I did. Let's get rid of those trees. Oh, I'm on the wrong side of the road, Stove. Okay. Now let's paint. And again, we're not gonna have any control over which way our lines are going on our plow furrows. Does not matter, because we're gonna have to come in and do some disking on this. But we're just gonna go where we want our arable land to be. And again, how cool is this? The fact that we're able to paint this on. Okay, so there's one tier. Then we'll come in and get another tier right here. And again, I'm thinking corn silage over here, corn. And then lastly, this other tier. I guess this would be called contour farming. But we are controlling the contour of the land, where we want it to go. And it'll be really pretty as you're coming up this hill, too, seeing this. Now, again, that's probably not ideal. So what we have to do is we've got to look at it and see, like, what can actually be done? What is realistic here? Maybe make this a little more like that. And then we come back into the softening tool. And remember, the softening tool does allow us to change what we've done. If we were to get into the elevation tool, it would remove that arable land. Okay. Now, all we've got to do is just grab our meadow grass, and we've got to just come in here and paint And it does not matter if you get grass over into the arable land, because when you work the land, it will mulch it and get rid of it. This would be a very difficult hill to, plant on. It's just very, very steep. And again, I do apologize. My throat is a little sore right now. I've been talking a lot, so I'm a little quieter right now. But hopefully you're still able to follow along. That is probably not going to work great right there. Now, realistically, I would probably come in and lower that, but I'm going to see if I can use the softening tool and have it kind of raise itself up here on the front. Yeah, I really, really like this. Now, I will come in. So this kind of grass in between we would probably use for hay. But out here by the road, I'm just going to put some of this. And I might throw down a fence. Just especially as we get down closer to the river. Because again, you're not going to be driving equipment over here, getting on that road. You're going to come through here. So let's grab a fence. Gotta find the right fence. There it is. Yes, that's the fence I like. And this might even be, you know, a fenced off area. You might want to graze this land. So to do that, we would probably come in. We put a large fence here to get, and you're not going to bring massive equipment down through here. So like that. And then run straight down there. And then just kind of bring it down by the river. And then back up. There we go. Now it's just a nice little field area. We can jump out. Take a look at this. So from the road, really, really nice. What are we missing on this farm? Other than the real big details. This, I might, if we're going to use that, I might need to run this like this. Still feel like we're missing something. I'm missing something up on this hill. I have an idea. Let's put a bank barn up there, and I'll show you what I mean. This can be really, really cool, actually. Might even be able to get some other animals over here, too. Let me find it. We'll have to build it out. But it's this guy right here. And I'll show you why it's so cool. Because this is so elevated right there. I can't go over there because this is the edge of the map. I don't know why it's restricted. I wish that wasn't the case, but it is. I'm gonna put that right there. Now we gotta dig it out because there's a whole lot more to this than what you're seeing right now. So we gotta come down to the bottom. Right there's the bottom of that. And honestly, we probably need to go a little bit lower. And then down here, there is an entire basement section. We got to find the edge of that that foundation. It's about right there. Now, the way I typically get around this is I'll lower that just a little bit. I come in and get the concrete slabs. Which I might just have to go find them. Yeah, they're right here. And this becomes, and we'll run over there real fast just to make sure I've got that layered or leveled correctly. Come on, jump over the fence. See, it's a little high. But, I mean, that would not be terrible. It's just a little high. It's called a slab, aged wide slab. So we're going to lower this just a little bit more. I went too far, didn't I? It's too far the other way, stove. Let's try that. You're so close. Perfection. So then you just got to find the corner that you want to use. I don't think any of the corners are perfectly square. Nice. And now we've got to look and see, did we do any damage down here? No, we really didn't. I kind of like to throw concrete. I mean, you could put you could put slabs down here too if you wanted to. But you can also just put concrete. And then you can kind of start to have some fun and build a little, like you could do, I don't know, like a small calving area. So let's see if we've got anything in here. So these are calving barns. So you could put this like on its side like this. So that opens up inside there. Does that work? Yeah, that works perfectly. Let's do this. Nice. And then we've got, I mean, you could put some of these in here. These are actual calf huts. I don't like it when you just got a massive, like, mountain that kind of juts out behind your... So I like to come in and kind of tear it out. Plus, we need to be able to get up here with, you know, if we're gonna put straw in there. And here it is, dairy farm complete. This is the first of 2 farms for this map. I'm really, really happy with the way it turned out. My voice kind of gave up there towards the end. That was actually last night, and I just kept building. Give me your feedback, let me know, because now it's going to be time to build farm number 2. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, right here on the farm with Stovers.